So this is day 2 of having Bell's palsy. It's difficult to close my left eye, and it's difficult to drink from a straw. It's difficult to spit. 3 days after Bell's palsy diagnosis, I started to see that my smile was reducing more and more, and I could not close my eye at all, so I had to put a patch over my eye and tape it shut. And it was actually more tricky than you would think. It was tricky because my eye wanted to stay in an open position, and it would force its way open even when I taped it shut. After a while, it would just sort of pry itself back open. So it took a lot of different taping techniques to figure out the right way to do it. And as I kept ripping the tape off, it was ripping off some of the skin, and it got to where it was extremely uncomfortable. Well, it's been a week, and I think that it has progressed a little bit more because I now have kind of a speech impediment a little bit, like especially if I try to talk louder. Because of the paralyzation on the left, I frequently would drool and had to wipe my mouth, and also it affected my speech a lot. And I can't eat as well. Eating is definitely a challenge, so I haven't been eating as much. I'm trying to blink my other eye the same way as my right eye, and I can't.
That's weird.
I was going through a lot of depression during this time. It was hard for me to come to terms with what was happening to my face and that I had no control over it. And seeing myself in the mirror was devastating. And also the lack of abilities that I had, like the inability to shut my eye properly, the inability to open my mouth wide, the inability to close it, and so many other things that were limiting me. If I tried to drink from a cup, it was just like if I'd gotten Novocaine at the dentist, I just could not. It would just dribble down my chin. So I had to drink from a straw, but I had to drink it all the way on the right-hand side of my mouth just to be able to get a tight seal. The emotional impact of this cannot be overstated. It was tremendously devastating to see my face like this. But not only that, I had a lot of pain in the first few weeks. I had pain all along my cheek where all of the nerves were, and the pain was so intense that I couldn't do anything but just lay down, and that was very, very difficult for me. It's intense, feels like lightning, just a searing, shooting pain. I tried a lot of methods, including acupuncture, to try to help. I also used a TENS unit until I was advised that that's not a good idea in the early stages of Bell's palsy. Eventually, I had to return to painting my murals again because that is how I support my family.
Well, I'm back at Wilkes Battery, and I'm going to be working on painting the mural. I think that the fastest way that I can heal myself is by doing what I love and what makes me happy. And so I'm going to work on it for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to go home.
Well, today is my 25th day of having Bell's palsy. Yesterday, I had to take my tape off because I had gotten an infection in my eye, which it's mostly cleared up now, so I'm really, really happy about that. But just from having the tape on my eye all the time and moisture collecting under there, it wasn't a good thing, but I felt like I kind of didn't have a choice. Because I didn't want to have to keep taping and retaping my eye in the middle of the night, I had to find other methods of keeping my eye closed. And it was really frustrating. But one method was this eye mask, and that put a little pressure on my eye. But another method was the Glad Press and Seal wrap, which it closes your eye and you can go to sleep with it on. I never would have thought of it before, but I went to the Bell's Palsy Forum and people gave me that suggestion, and it was amazing how it worked. My kids were my biggest support during this time. I don't know how I would have done it without them. I just loved everything that they did to support me and how kind and caring they were.
Remember that you should never say that you are weak. Even whenever you feel weak, you are still strong. always say that you are strong,
I
not
am
weak.
strong. I am strong, David. One symptom I had that I don't have any way of providing video footage for is my ear. I had a lot of sensitivity in my ear. Every little sound was so amplified. There was no way to protect my eardrums, so I had to wear an earplug all the time in order to not have that sensitivity. And also, my eye was like the most difficult thing to deal with. My eye being open all the time, it would burn, it would sting, and just, it was miserable. And today I'm supposed to get some moisture chamber glasses that are supposed to make a seal around your eyes so that they're not getting exposed to the air or dirt or anything that might be in the air. I can live with my face being lopsided for a while, but my eye has made it harder to function at all the way I want to. I have to say the pain level in my eye is significantly reduced by having these on. And so even though they look really big and everything, but I don't really care. It feels so much better. So I'm very thankful for these. I definitely recommend it to anybody who's got Bell's palsy. Another thing I tried was an external eyelid weight, but it really didn't help as much as I wanted, and it was uncomfortable. As time went on and I didn't see any progress, I got more and more depressed. It became so difficult to just have the motivation to do anything, even though I was still doing the things that I needed to do. I just did not feel the same motivation anymore. And I was becoming really overwhelmed with the idea that this might be my new face for the rest of my life, and all of the limitations that came with it.
I really think it's a shame that the medical community does not know enough about Bell's palsy. But from what they do know, I think it's a shame that they don't suggest that someone who is diagnosed with Bell's palsy to immediately seek counseling and to get involved in that, because I think that is critical in this experience, to have someone, helping you through it, helping guide you through your emotions, because the emotional impact of your face being disfigured all of a sudden for no reason, or seemingly no reason, just out of the blue, it's devastating to anybody's psyche to go through that. And that should be one of the first thing that's recommended, is like, see a counselor.
I really wish that doctors understood a little bit more about this, even maybe if they don't even know anything about the physical, but if they could just know a little bit more about the emotional impact, maybe they would, give people an idea of what to expect emotionally and psychologically from having their face completely change overnight and not have any idea what to do about it, and not be able to blink, have a harder time eating, not be able to do so many things that you wouldn't even think about just from having the left side of your face paralyzed. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence. That's kind of been stripped away from me. So yeah. Just trying to get through it. There's been a lot of days that have felt very, very dark for me, and very, sometimes almost hopeless. And I think that you should never underestimate the power of a smile or a hug. Things like that make such a huge difference, because this condition is a very isolating condition that makes you feel separate from everybody. Even when you're together with people, you feel different, you feel separate, and just that connection it means so much. I think the thing that helps me the most is just being with my kids, and just seeing them smile
feeling them hugging me, or seeing the little things they do for me, like my daughter made me this bracelet. And so all those little things make such a difference.
I was very faithful to read up on Bell's palsy and to learn about different facial exercises and stretches that I could do. And I did them every day despite seeing literally no progress. It took 4 months before I finally saw the slightest little movement.
I might have reached a turning point in my healing, and I'm really excited about it. I was trying to do some mouth exercises, and I realized that, wait a minute, I'm seeing movement on this side. So I'm going to just show you because I'm so excited. Here goes. It's like really subtle, really, really small movement, but it is movement.
After this first movement happened, I was so excited and I cried. And I started seeing progress after that every day. I started just seeing I could smile just the tiniest bit more. I had just the smallest amount of movement under my eye and things like that. And it was just amazing. It gave me the hope that, yeah, I'm not going to be like this forever and things will get better. But it took so long to get there. It just felt like such a long time. And I guess that actually made it even more special.
I went to the facial nerve clinic and at UAB in Birmingham today, and I got a lot of interesting information and help, and I'm really thankful that I went. The first thing that they told me was that they had me do a bunch of facial expressions, and they told me that they could actually see some movement under my eye right here. They could actually see my eye trying to move, and so that was like a huge deal to me. I had no idea. And they also said that I have tone in my cheek here, and that's a good sign.
Slowly but surely, every day, I just started seeing more and more little things that were improving. My symmetry was improving. My ability to smile was improving. My ability to squint started to improve also.
Hi, today is almost week 16. It's day 111 of having Bell's palsy. Now I'm starting to see progress almost every day, and that makes me excited. One of the things that I noticed today was that when I try to smile on this side, my cheek actually moves. Not just my bottom of my chin, but my cheeks also. And so that is a huge sign that it's actually going upwards, and maybe eventually I'll be able to squint my eye again. That would be amazing. I would love to be able to blink and to be able to squint.
One way that I was able to keep my eyes open without any pain during the later parts of Bell's palsy were by using erythromycin that I got prescribed at the eye doctor. And I had to put a thick layer of that on my eye a few times a day, and it would keep my eye moist and keep it from drying out and made me much more comfortable. One of the best moments that I had in my whole experience was when I was finally able to go to sleep without taping my eye shut. Never in a million years would I've ever thought that that would have been an issue, but it became such an issue over time of every night having to put tape on my eye to go to sleep, or Glad Presence seal, or whatever method I used, and to finally be able to just close my eye and go to sleep was like a miracle.
I want to show you something I can do now that I wasn't able to do for 140 days, and that is to close my eye while laying on my side. It's an amazing thing. It's amazing. I can just lay here and go to sleep.
Why won't you do it?
I was so excited when I could finally squint because I had to use sunglasses every time I went out because it was so painful without any protection from the sun. And so when I was finally able to squint, I could actually go out and my eyes would be protected. The next hurdle I had to overcome was when I blinked both eyes blinked at a different rate of speed, and so it felt really weird. And at this point, I still was not able to move my eyebrow at all. It was just locked into place. And if you've noticed in any of the videos where I have tape on my forehead, that was me trying to raise my eyebrow just so that it would be more symmetrical. Hi, it's been 6 months now since I got Bell's palsy, and still dealing with it. I'm thankful for all the progress that I've had so far, because I feel like I can go around and look basically normal to most people, but I still feel the effects of it so much all the time. And lately it's been a little bit more, and I think it's just, I don't know, it's tightening on the left side. And I do think I have developed some synkinesis. Synkinesis is an unwanted and involuntary muscle contraction that happens when you try to perform your normal facial activity. So when I would blink my eye, it would raise up the corner of my mouth, and also it tensed up other areas of my face as well, but that was the most visible part of it. Over time, it started to develop some fatigue in my face. It really tired my face out, because every time I would blink, the corner of my face would go up, and it contracted that muscle in my face. So I opted to get Botox. Botox is generally approved for people with synkinesis because it can help. It has been shown in studies to be very helpful. Another thing that is annoying is that I still have this, like, a muscle pulling my mouth down. I can feel the tension, and so when I smile, there's like, I can feel this pulling downwards. And when I went to the facial paralysis center, they said that muscle is, you know, real tight and everything, that they could inject Botox there and help me smile better, which is kind of a risky thing. I mean, it's kind of scary to think of doing that, because, you know, it doesn't always work the way, you know, that they would want it to. And I really don't like the idea of injecting Botox in my mouth. I would like to think that maybe over time it could resolve itself. But for now, when I smile, it's like it just goes downwards. Still got the pulling right here downwards on this side. But I'm doing exercises that I was given by the physical therapist at the facial paralysis center, and he said one of the exercises, because I have synkinesis still, and so when I blink my eye, my face is trying to, like, it just lifts up right here a little bit, and it does that every time I blink, which is really annoying. If you blink you blink all the time during the day, and every time I blink I can feel my face tighten and move over a little bit. So he said one exercise for me to do is to hold my hand here and just really slowly, like, take about 3 seconds to blink, which is hard for me to do that, but I'm just gonna just slowly do it. And when I do that, I don't feel that tightening, and so he said if I do that a lot, it'll help train my facial muscles, that they don't really need to make that movement when I blink my eye. And so I'm hoping that it works. Around here it's getting really tight, so in the morning when I wake up, I have to do a lot of massaging and a lot of stretching to be able to just, I don't know, it still feels tight no matter what I do, but it seems like it loosens it up a little bit. They said that they're going to try some Botox to help with the synkinesis that I have and all this muscle tension. There's a lot of pulling on this muscle here all the time, and over here you see that right there is my muscle pulling down right there. And they say that the Botox can actually help with that. It was really scary getting Botox injections because I really didn't know what to expect. But after it was over and after I'd had time to see what happened, I really think it was a good choice, because it definitely relaxed my muscles. And it made me feel so much better. I honestly, after getting the Botox, I really didn't even think about the Bell's palsy nearly as much, because it was such a relief. Well, it's been 3 days since I got my Botox for synkinesis and the muscle tension in my face. It seems like it's actually working out like I wanted it to. Last night I noticed my eye felt a little funny, and when I blinked, it felt like I don't know, felt different. I realized my eye is widening a little bit because it's been so narrow lately because of the muscle tension pulling my eye, and it's just loosening up and going back to kind of a almost the same size. I guess it looks about the same size as the other eye now. So when I blink, instead of this part of my face going up and squinting and this part going out like this, it just mostly still. I mean, it's going to go back, it's going to be even more later, but right now, when I blink, it barely moves at all. See? And it was moving every single time I blinked, and it was so irritating, and it was like a workout for my face all the time. And now it feels like, you know, I can relax, and my eye is, it still pulls it a little bit if I blink it a certain way, but most of the time when I blink, it's not constantly just jolting back and forth. It's been nearly a year since my official diagnosis of Bell's palsy. I was diagnosed on May the 5th, 2023. I made this video in the hopes that it can be helpful to somebody else who has Bell's palsy and really needs some kind of direction or kind of guidance, or wants to know what to expect. Everybody is different. Everybody's story is going to be different. But I think that if enough people document their experiences and share it, it can help so many people, because there's just not a lot of information out there in the medical world. And so anyway, my desire with this video is just to be a support to anybody who needs it. And always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer.